Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California, and today I want to talk soil. Soil! So many of us buy expensive bags of soil, and let me tell you something. We can make our own. I'm not saying not to buy it, but we can add soil that we make to the soil we buy. Here I'm going to go through how to do it, what to put in it, what not to put in it, and how easy it is. I mean, look around. Nature's doing it every day. So to go through this so we could see what happens, I took a tote and I made a clear front out of a plexiglass and I attached it and then I started to fill it. This is what I want to show you on what we can put in it. You can put in anything that is organic. Now, organic does not mean what you're thinking probably. Organic means something that belonged to the earth at one time, very natural, not plastic, not nylon. That is what the term organic means. It's kind of like a play on words sometimes when it comes to buying food. Keep that in thought. So you want something that is going to break down, and that includes paper. And look, somebody had given me some flowers. I didn't have the heart to throw it away. It was so sweet of her. I wasn't feeling well, and she brought me flowers. But I composted them. The bow, I would not. The bow was nylon, which is plastic, which would not break down. It wouldn't be the end of the world. It would just sit there, so it's not worth it. You can put in leaves. You can put in shredded paper. You can put in your old mail. You could put in junk mail. I don't use a lot that's got the shiny ink, but a little bit's not going to hurt. Eggs. Now, you can put in a whole egg, but it's going to take a while for that to break down. Is it going to hurt anything? No, because eventually the weight or something would crack it, and the microbes would get in there along with the earthworms and take care of it. Fish. My granddaughter had bought some fish. It was no good. Watch your fish when you're buying it. Check the country it's coming from and think about what their water is like. That particular fish really tasted bad. You could taste what that fish was living in. So she got her money back and we decided to compost it. Now you've got to be careful with critters. This is off the ground. Nothing's going to bother it. You can compost anything. You can compost the whole chicken. You can compost cooked chicken, raw chicken. You can compost anything in the back of your fridge that you don't even know what it is anymore. If you were going to eat it, it's going to compost. It's going to break down. The microbes will eat it. The problem with meat is that it will attract, let's say, coyotes or rodents or something. That is an attraction. That's what you maybe don't want to put in. I have put chicken in there, but chicken bones don't break down. I go back and I find the bones. Now, is that a bad thing? No. It actually is creating space in there for the earthworms to get around. Think of natural soil. There's rocks, there's sticks, there's different things in there. That's what the bones are going to do. It's okay. So it works out really good. Spaghetti. I found some spaghetti that who knows how old it was. I put that in there. And veggie rolls. That's something I made a video on where I take toilet paper rolls and I stuff them with collard leaves and different leaves in there. And let me tell you something. It may sound like a joke, but the earthworms love it because the earthworms need oxygen too. So that creates space. Coffee grinds. There is a million things you can put in there. Like I said, anything that you find in the fridge that is gone bad, even sauerkraut. Yeah, it's a little salty, but if you're just dumping in one container, it's not going to hurt anything. It will all break down. Dairy is not a problem. You can put in cottage cheese and yogurt and cereals. That's oatmeal I'm putting in there. It will break down. All that matter that was once a tree or once a plant or once an animal will break down. I wouldn't put the coffee can in there. I had some old coffee that was literally 30 years old. But the coffee grinds are perfect. Yogurt. Doesn't matter if it's good or rotten. It will break down. Now, of course, leaves from around the garden, or you could take a walk and go to a park. And if there's leaves on the ground, you can pick those up. What worries me is grass clippings. You have to make sure that the grass clippings have not been treated. In other words, if somebody is spraying their grass to get rid of weeds, then you've got a problem. It may not break down because it's an herbicide that will probably not allow the microbes to live. You don't want that. You don't want to put any type of pesticides or chemicals in there. I wouldn't worry about little things like if you go to the grocery store and it's not organic, the food, it's not going to hurt anything. It's going to break down. I'm talking about something sprayed, and I think you know what I'm talking about. You can put in fruit, rotting fruit. Citrus is fine. Just don't overdo it. Avocados is wonderful. I put that in all the time. That is the skin. Hopefully we eat it before it goes bad. But if the pit gets in there, be careful because it'll love it in there and it will grow. So smash it. But it's amazing what you can put in there that will turn in the soil so incredibly fast. You can make your own compost. You can combine that with what you want to buy if you want to buy it. And let me tell you something. This is alive. This brings earthworms. Napkins. Oh, by the way, I pulled napkins out. You can put that in there. Think about it. When you buy a bag of soil, there's no earthworms in there. That soil is already broke down. There's no food for microbes to get in there. They're not gonna come to it. Neither are the earthworms. It's like going to a restaurant that's empty. Maybe a lot of pretty tables, but there's no food there. This is food that you're putting in here. This is creating a biological environment for nature. They want to come in here and they want to eat everything up. And while they're doing that, your plants are thriving. It is amazing how I grow in this. If I'm putting seeds in there or young seedlings, sometimes I do put a handful of soil in there, potting soil, but a lot of times I don't. I went back the next day and you could see already it was breaking down in one day. One day you could see the difference. It even smelled good the next day. And I looked on the front here and I could see tiny little things moving around. It was starting already. Whatever gets in there, you've got flies that get in there and create maggots. If it's not in your house, what's the difference? That's nature. And you can always go back when you're doing it and add in more. I had some old rice, it was buggy, so I just threw it in there. You can add to what you're doing. It's like you've got your own compost bin, but you're not cranking and turning it. You're just letting it stay natural as nature would be, with trees dropping their leaves and stuff. That is natural, like avocado trees. Do you know that avocado trees a lot of times will not produce if they don't have the layer of leaves that they drop there? They need that. It creates the topsoil they need to produce avocados. And when the avocados fall and mush in the ground, they absolutely love that too. That's natural. You know how I compost in place as my plants are growing? That's to keep the plants alive and fed and continue to grow and be healthy. I had covered this one too tightly when I went back on the 5th day, so it started to mold, but look at this. I had seeds growing in there. Things that were coming up from the kitchen scraps I dumped in there. It looked like tomato seeds were growing. I have grown squash that way too. Nature wants to grow in something that's alive. I have found that if my soil is alive, my plants do much better. And the plants are getting a constant food source from all this breaking down. You want your containers or your ground to attract earthworms, to attract microbes. When I tell you something, this is what I do. You don't have to do it my way, but this is the way I'm going to do it. And water, it will not break down without water. So you're going to have to treat it as if it's a plant, like you're watering a container. Your microbes and your earthworms are not water creatures. They want water just like we do, but they don't swim. So don't overdo the water and make sure you take care of them. That soil is alive. You will be able to make your own soil. And 3 weeks later, it was already all gone. The earthworms, when I dug through, were on the bottom. Why? Because most of the matter that they wanted to eat was only left on the bottom. And once the food source is gone, they leave. So I hope it gave you some thoughts on making your own soil. It's the easiest thing to do with their own food scraps or toilet paper, rolls, leaves, and things from around the garden. The only thing you have to remember is you got to take care of it. In other words, keep it watered like a plant and top it with a little bit of soil so you can cover up the microbes and the earthworms to give them some privacy. So with that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye.